Good evening, and welcome to Local Tucson Evening News. My name is Magdalena Ceja. Let's begin tonight with our top story. A woman living in El Hoyo is beaten and murdered by her abusive husband earlier today after a domestic dispute turns deadly. Ana Sanchez is live in El Hoyo with the full story. Ana? Hi Magdalena, and good evening to all you watching at home. I am standing in the heart of El Hoyo in front of the home of Anastasia Elizondo, the victim of this tragic incident. She was a mother of 4 daughters, wife, friend, and the recent maid grandmother, but her life was cut short after an abusive beating by her husband, Lazario Elizondo, went too far. The incident took place in their home earlier today at around 1 p.m., and authorities are not sure what provoked it. I, on the other hand, interviewed the victim's comadre, Lola Lopez, and other members of the community to gain more info on the story. So, Lola, tell us more about Anastasia and Lazario's relationship. Like how it was, what you saw, things like that.
I've known Anastasia and Lazario since they moved next door to us. The same year my family moved here. They seemed happy, except when Anastasia would come crying to me about him hitting her. But Lazario worked so hard on the railroad, and Anastasia was not the best housekeeper. She just needed to fix her habits. Lazario is a hard-working man, supporting his family. He just got his buttons pushed. Sources just let me know that they were separated. Is that true? Was Anastasia separated from Lazario? Yes, they were separated, or she separated from him, but she was just confused. I heard when she left, she didn't even remember El Hoyo. Some of my comadres told me that she even said she didn't know me. But I advised her to move back in with Lazario after our grandchild was born. So, after seeing Anastasia in the state that she was in, did you ever expect for things to escalate this much? She loved Lazario, and he loved her. Not like the way my Nacho loved me, but in his own way. I never thought it would go this far. Nor now who will watch her children.
So, as you just heard, Anastasia did have a separation from her husband, but decided to move back with him after her daughter gave birth. Now, this was merely about a week ago, so we can see from that how intense the abuse was. We just heard from her comadre that she would go over weekly with bruises, so just from that we can imply that this was occurring and has been occurring for quite some time now. Anna, if this was occurring for such a long time, as you found out, why didn't anyone from El Hoyo say anything? That is what I've been trying to find out myself, Magdalena. So I interviewed other community members as well from El Hoyo to find out their thoughts on what happened today and what happened to Anastasia. Did you know Anastasia?
Yeah, she was a very lousy housekeeper.
And do you know of what happened to her today?
No, was she beat again? I always hear her give trouble to her husband and the rest of the neighbors too. She was always causing a lot of ruckus.
So you haven't heard of her death today by her husband?
Well, I don't know if that would ever happen or if it would lead that far.
I was shocked the person I spoke with only lived a block away from Anastasia, and although he knew about the abuse that was going on in their home, he had no clue about the incidents of today. It makes me wonder how many other people knew of what was going on, yet said nothing. Who made the 911 call, and was there any prior incidents or reports that may have prevented this from happening? Yeah, Magdalena, though many neighbors heard what was going on, no one called 911, and it was actually the husband himself that made the call after what happened. It was earlier today that authorities received a phone call from her husband sharing some details of the incident. And we at Local Tucson Evening News actually have a recording of the phone call with the 911 operator for our viewers at home to hear.
Now,
911, what's your emergency?
I, I, my wife is dead.
Are you sure she's dead, sir? Can you make sure for us?
I know she's dead.
Okay, sir, calm down. Did you find her that way?
No.
Sir?
I killed her.
Okay, sir. Do you have a weapon?
No.
Where are you?
I didn't mean for her to go this far.
Sir, where are you?
Oyo Street.
Authorities are on their way. Authorities arrived shortly after the call was made. But you know, Magdalena, after talking with the people of the community of Iloyo, I can see what they find important. Iloyo is home to so many inhabitants, most of Latino descent, or as many like to call themselves Chicanos. But earlier today, no one seemed to hear or chose to ignore the cries coming from their neighbor, their community member, their Chicana sister, their comadre. Although she distanced herself from Eloyo, as Lola stated in her interview, she was still human and deserved to be treated as such. Lazario is not the victim here. Anastasia is. There should be no justification for any abuse, but the reactions of Eloyo's inhabitants seem to try to do just that. After hearing this story, I am finding it harder and harder to call Eloyo a community. A community requires unity, and based off the patriarchal reactions from Anastasia's neighbors about her death, Eloyo has a long way to go from being called a united community. Magdalena, back to you in the studio. Thank you, Anna, for your report. It is truly a tragic tale that could have and should have been prevented a long time ago. But because of the patriarchal mindsets many Chicanos carry and refuse to change, instead of prevention, the abuse is perpetuated. Truly a sad story for the neighborhood of Iloyo. Stay tuned for more local Tucson evening news after a few messages from our sponsors.